Hi everyone and welcome to the Tomorrow Show. I'm Sasha and this is Indy, and today we're going to be talking about something that people have been wondering about forever, which is the future. Everyone has their own idea of what it could look like. Some people trust science and technology, and some look at patterns in history, and others turn to things like prophecies. So we thought it would be interesting to bring a few of those perspectives together today and see how people think differently about the future.
Yes, and we've got three really different guests coming today. First, we'll be talking to a tarot card reading, someone who looks at what the future might bring. Then we'll speak with a history professor who studies predictions from the past and how people used to imagine the future. And finally, we'll meet a science fiction author, someone whose job is literally imagining what the future could look like. We're also going to test some predictions written by kids and what they think the future would look like. And that's going to be interesting.
Yeah, a portion of those predictions are actually pretty imaginative and some are a little wild. But honestly, if you think about it, a lot of the things that we used in our everyday lives would have sounded pretty unbelievable not too long ago. So tonight we're going to answer one question. Can anyone really predict the future?
Yes. All right. So our first guest looks at the future from a very different perspective. Instead of focusing on science or religion, this person reflects on the future with tarot cards. Please welcome our first guest, the tarot card reader.
Welcome to the Tomorrow Show. We're so excited to have you here today.
Thank you so much. I'm excited as well.
That sounds good. That sounds good. Before we get into all the questions, could you maybe introduce yourself and tell us what you do?
Okay. I am Jolanda Bolt. I am a tarot reader and a tarot author. I've written a book about how to read tarot cards in English, but also I translated it to Dutch as well. I started my career 30 years ago, so I've been doing this for a long time.
Wow.
And it's kind of a hobby that went way too big.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But good. That sounds good. That your job is your hobby as well.
Yeah.
How did you get into it, if you don't mind me asking?
Well, I think that many things that happen to you are just things that happen.
Yeah.
And I was on the verge of moving away from Groningen, where I used to live. And I was moving to a small island in the north, Terschelling. And I thought there are no bookstores there. That's what I thought. So I went to one of the huge bookstores here and I built the stack of books that I wanted to bring. And then I saw a set of tarot cards with a book and I thought, oh, that's nice to learn.
Why not?
So I just put it on the stack and that was the beginning.
Wow. So it was really random. It wasn't that
super
you were
random.
Introduced by it by someone.
Well, I must have heard about it because I've been interested in spirituality, but that was more about ghosts and scary things. And that was a bit like, oh.
Yeah.
And they must have talked about tarot cards then.
Yeah.
Felt a bit safer, maybe.
Yeah.
It's like I could control it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
And then when did you start doing the readings on other people? Like how did it go?
I think I've practiced it for about a year and a half, and I found a teacher in the United States, and that was online. That was almost 30 years ago, and I was in a group, and she taught us going through everything that she knew. And at some point she said, well, I think you've got it. What do you want to have some clients? And I said, oh yeah, sure.
Why not?
And she organized the opportunity to do free readings for people, and that was a really good way to learn.
Yeah.
Because you can only learn by doing.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah.
And so I did a few hundred readings every night.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I did it for a long time. I even took over that
for people
network.
in the US.
all over the world.
Okay,
Yeah, and it was done in English.
Mhm.
And at some point, as in all online communities, something happened, and there was a lot of
Chaos or?
a lot of chaos, and I decided to leave.
Okay.
And then I thought, well, I can do that for myself.
Yeah.
Oh.
So that's when I started my business,
Yeah.
Mhm.
and I've been doing readings since then.
Wow,
Yeah,
that's good. And
Yeah.
when people come to you for a reading,
yeah.
are there specific things that people hope to learn about mostly, or is it really different for everyone?
Well, the questions that I get most are about relationships.
Yeah.
And on the second position, there's self-esteem. How can I improve myself? How can I get a better job? Or
It's a lot about people themselves.
About
personal
themselves.
lives. Yeah.
their personal lives, but relationships are number one. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
That makes sense.
yeah.
Could you also tell us a bit about what actually it involves, like tarot card reading?
How it works? Or
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Well, to be honest, people always think that I predict the future and that I know the future and it's all woo-woo. Well, basically, it's very feet on the ground,
Oh.
Okay.
very feet on the ground, because I don't believe in the future.
Oh my God, really?
Yeah, because what is the future? And some people who you will interview
maybe we'll
later
we'll
on
find out
may
today.
have a different
Maybe we can have a
opinion.
discussion.
Yeah, but the future is only an image in your mind.
That's
Yeah.
a really beautiful way to
And
put it, actually.
It is like the future is in 5 minutes, but if I'm there in 5 minutes, it's again now. So
Yeah.
it's a long segment of now, now,
Oh.
now, now, now.
Yeah.
And that means that the only way you can predict the future is by setting out, predicting your steps towards where you want to go. So, knowing the future, I always say, is boring because all the excitement is taken away.
That's true.
You
That
already
is true,
know
yeah.
if I take steps 1 to 10, I already know what's going to happen, and for me that's very boring.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
What I want to teach people is to accept life, and that sometimes things happen, and to be resilient enough to take it and to redirect your life.
Yeah.
And you are the one who is in control of your life. You're the one who can redirect. You're the one who can take a decision. But a decision is nice, to make a decision, but after that you need to take action.
Yeah.
Because if you don't do things differently,
It's not gonna
nothing will change,
Yeah.
and your future is not going to change. So
Change,
what
yeah.
I help people with is to decide on what they need to change to get a different outcome.
So if I say it correctly, instead of like predicting a future, you're more helping with
Guiding them,
guiding
maybe?
their
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
I see myself more as a mentor.
Okay.
Like, come on, I'll take
Yeah.
you by the hand.
What do you want? How are we
What do
gonna-
you want? And to also build their resilience to want something. Some people find it really hard to want something from their
Yeah.
heart,
Like they're
from
lost.
their soul,
Yeah.
and they think too much about what is going to happen. They're scared. And most people who want a future reading turn out to be scared or anxious about the things that it might not happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what happens if Mr. Super Right, who I thought was going to be my soulmate,
Yeah.
has
Like what
decided
if? What if?
to choose someone else?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is going to happen to me?
Okay. Yeah.
So that makes it more personal.
Yeah. And would you be open to do a reading for Sasha maybe? No? I see you already have the cards with you.
Yeah, but do you want a reading?
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
I'm so excited. It's my first tarot reading, so how can I say no?
Yeah. Well, I brought my my cards, that was just a good choice of me, because just this morning I thought,
Ooh,
I
maybe.
need to bring my cards.
Otherwise, it would be hard.
Yeah, so there are 78 cards, and they all have like symbols on them, and I'm going to let you read the card.
Okay.
So you've never done that, but I
No.
will predict if
Okay.
you can do that. So I just shuffled it.
Yeah.
I can let you shuffle, but it doesn't matter who shuffles because it's all random. The card
Okay.
that comes up is just random. Your future is random. But how you interpret the card is not random at all.
Okay.
Because have you ever heard about this, the way that you look at the future is how you also look at an image? The way you look at an image says more about how you look at the world
Really?
Yeah.
around you.
Okay.
Yeah. So what you can do is divide this stack in 3.
Randomly, right?
Yeah, just sure. And I'll just restack them, and the top one is the one. I'll just interpret one card
Yeah.
for you. And this is the Hanged Man. Is what she pulled. She did it. And I'm going to give it to you. And if you look at the card, just from what just comes up, a word.
The first word that came to my mind was decision, but
Nice one. Yeah. And so what about a decision? Do you need to make a decision?
I think so. That's
Yeah.
what came to my mind. but-
Yeah, yeah. And if you look at that card,
Yeah.
is it easy to make a decision, or is it harder to make a decision?
I would say looking at it gives me like harder like vibes.
Yeah. Well, it's exactly what that card is about.
Really?
Yeah. And that shows that
Wow.
in that card are universal symbols that we all interpret the same way. Like the street signs when you cycle back home.
Yeah.
Like the round street sign with the white bar in it. We
Yeah.
all know you can't pass that. You can't drive into that road.
Yes.
It is made of universal symbols.
Okay.
And that's also the way that the cards work, because that is a card of taking the time to think, to take a rest, to also it is like a pause,
Yeah.
and that you need to regroup.
Okay.
And maybe even surrender to having to make a decision,
Okay.
because sometimes people keep running
Yeah.
and are
And
just
are
busy,
lost
busy,
and
busy.
Yeah.
And maybe they just need to stop and make a decision.
Yeah.
Wow.
And that's how it always amazes me that even though people who have never had a tarot card in their hand,
Yeah. They always say something
they
similar.
always say something that it shows that in some way
Yeah.
it works, like it is about universal symbols.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
interesting. So it is actually not about the card itself, but about what, in this case, Sasha says about it. That is more
Yeah.
what you look at.
Yeah, and that's why I often don't do the reading like, oh, I just throw out
Yeah,
the
because that's
cards
what I
and
imagine. I always see it on
Yeah,
TikTok
Like
or
a table full
Yeah.
I must say
cards.
that I'm a bit different
Mhm.
in that field, because many people just throw out the cards
Yeah.
and start talking. I don't like doing that, because I want to have that conversation, because, and we're not going to do that, but I would talk to you about what kind of decision do you have to make? Is there a
Yeah.
decision that you have to make? And why is it difficult for you?
Yeah.
What
What made
ideas,
me-
what
yeah.
makes you think that it is a, and
Difficult
if I
decision,
can
yeah.
help people making that decision in this case easier.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we have one final question.
Yeah.
Because you have had many readings, as you said. Do you have, based on those readings, do you have a prediction what the future would look like? You said you don't really believe in the future, but maybe do you think there are things that are going to happen for many people, or is that difficult to say?
That's I don't have like a general conclusion in that way.
No.
But what I do feel is that it is starting to become more about self-actualization these days, because here in the Netherlands our situation is pretty safe. We're all fed, most of us all have a roof over our heads, so we don't have to worry about is there going to be a famine, or will there be a war, or, well, you never know with some people in the West, but we're pretty safe here. So that's why we can think about ourselves more and more about self-development. So we're going to focus on self-growth more and more, I feel.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you so much. That was really interesting to hear in the tarot reading. I absolutely loved it. So thank you so much for being here today and sharing this with us.
Thank you.
And we didn't just keep those predictions for ourselves. We actually went on the street and let children predict the future. People could take a card from the bowl and see what those children said. And that's really interesting. Let's take a look.
Hello, this is Franka and today we are in the city center of Groningen. I have a jar here with notes written by kids with predictions for the future. Let's see what people in Groningen think about them. So you can take a note from one of the kids.
When I play any video game, I'm actually inside of it.
Do you think it's realistic, something that could really happen?
Well, yeah, it's already kind of happening, right? With virtual reality and augmented reality.
Everything is electric. You can unlock doors with microchip in your skin.
Okay. What do you think about that?
I think it's dangerous.
Really weird.
Really weird?
Really weird.
I think the phones are enough.
Food is only by machines or by robots.
That's a prediction from someone that's very young. What do you think about it?
No.
Couldn't
That's not the future.
No?
To mix different cultures, different nationalities, for example, Asian and European styles, so that can't be done by a robot or machine.
Something scary will happen that will affect the world worse than coronavirus.
Okay, that's written by someone very young, so that is a bit scary. But what do you think about this?
I think, unfortunately, that is quite realistic.
And why do you think that?
Well, we're already seeing the first starting of the Hanze virus.
Something new.
So apparently we didn't learn anything from coronavirus.
You can talk to anyone in any language, even if it's different. I think that would be nice. I don't know how realistic it is. Maybe in the future there will be a special equipment that can translate. I think if it comes true, it will be very handy and very nice.
Well, that was really interesting. What do you think about it? And now let's go back to the studio.
So we just saw what people thought of all those predictions. It's really interesting to see how everyone thinks so differently.
Yeah, and it also shows that people have always tried to make sense about what might happen next. But it's interesting. The interesting thing is that this isn't new at all. Whether through religion, astrology, or prophecy or science, people always sought answers for what might happen next. And one of the most people, for examples, is a very unique French person who sadly couldn't be part of our show.
Because he died back in 1566.
The man that we're talking about, many believed had predicted the future many times, the French prophet and seer Nostradamus.
Yes, but today we want to look beyond Nostradamus' shadow and explore why people made predictions in the first place. So please welcome our second guest, the history professor.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Hi, welcome to the Tomorrow Show. It's so good to have you here.
Thanks for the invitation.
Yes,
course.
really nice that you're
Looking
here.
forward to your questions.
Ooh. Well, before we go to the questions, could you tell us what you do, who you are?
Yes, so I'm an history professor indeed. I'm specialized in medieval history, more specifically the history of reading in the medieval world. And as an historian, actually, I'm always thinking about the past, but also about the future. Because as you said in the introduction, that's what people always do. Think about what is going to happen. what is going to happen in their life, what is going to happen in the afterlife. So this is a continuous preoccupation. So as a historian, actually you always work in thinking about how did people cope with their future, how they try to influence that, how did they try to predict that, and where they're going to communicate actually their expectations for the future.
Yeah. So please tell us, how much have you actually heard about Nostradamus?
Well, quite a lot, because he's very famous.
Yeah.
And, I would say once in a while, when something happens in the world, everybody goes back to Nostradamus and his predictions. Yeah, very often. Maybe in Italy more, that would come from, maybe more than in the Netherlands, I would say. So there is a kind of cyclic use of Nostradamus. I would say his book was published in 1555, if I remember well. It is slightly over the time of the Middle Ages, but I mean, thinking about him really triggered me to think what was before, from which kind of, let's say, historical tradition is Nostradamus coming. So what's before Nostradamus and where did it come from? As I said, he's a Frenchman. He was also an apothecary, so someone with actually with experience in
healing,
let's say, in healing. And I would say, thinking about the future show, preoccupation for the future, and going back actually to the 14th and 15th century, which are more my period of specialization, I saw this, I would say, two lines, the very strong religious line, and the other, the very strong medical line. And I would say they come together in Nostradamus' personality, but generally speaking, in the personality of all these, we'd say, future professionals. Because he may be the most famous, but actually there is a very long list of these future professional astrologers, astronomers, all kind of geometers, all kind of mantic people. Very often occupying very important position at courts, for example.
He was part of the French court, right?
Yeah, no king without a very good astrologer, because you need to know, which decision you're going to make. I mean, what are you going to do? What's the best moment to take decision to start for a crusade, for example? I mean, how do you decide that? Where to invest, not to invest?
But do you think people, when making those decisions, think of Nostradamus, like what he predicted, or because he had so much knowledge?
I never ask people now how far they did. What I know is that actually these, let's say, future tellers, future professionals were kept in very, very high esteem. So it was extremely important what they were able to predict. Of course, as long as it happens. It can also be very dangerous. Being a fortune teller can also be very dangerous if course, what you say doesn't turn out. Nostradamus was very clever because his predictions were quite vague. So there are a lot of interpretation
they were left for interpretation.
So I thought, well, if you want to be a professional in the future, keep your prediction as broad as possible so that people can actually always find a little bit of truth in what you say and writing.
And were these predictions seen as serious way to gain answers, or were they more as entertainment, seen as entertainment?
Well, I think they were actually quite serious. Knowing what is going to happen, I mean, is a preoccupation which comes from life. I mean, a very short term, a very long term. If you think about the Middle Ages, of course, the greatest preoccupation of all was about life, but especially about the afterlife.
For sure.
What is going to happen after? Is there a life after? And especially, I would say, in the Christian Middle Ages, there was this very strong idea about the afterlife. But you know, that's what people want to know. I mean, people making investment. I mean, the Middle
there's
Ages
so many
is also the
theories about
starting
it.
point of our, let's say, economy. So people, what is going to happen when I need to invest? What is going to happen in the future? When do we need? Where can we start a battle? When we can leave? You know?
Yeah.
I mean, leaving for a crusade.
Yeah.
I mean, we're living for years. I mean, you were living home for 3, 4, 5 years. So this is a very long planning.
Yeah.
Maybe
And it's
even longer.
So
than
they
we
did
mostly
need that
do.
type of comfort that came from his predictions.
Yes, but especially when to start all this kind of enormous, let's say, enterprises, costly, I mean, challenging, huge investment. So they really needed to have a kind of idea about what is going to happen.
Because they know which direction they are going.
Yeah, of course, with direction first of all, but also what was the best moment, or what was the best decision, and of course, how can you influence your future? Because you know, but I think it's important to think that people were not just passively waiting for something to happen.
Yeah.
What they actually want to do, for the very beginning, is to see what can I do to influence my future, to make sure that I have a good place in the afterlife, to make sure that we'll have profit, to make sure that my trip will go well, to make sure that I will win this battle. So there is this kind of double identity, waiting for the future and influencing the future.
And talking about influencing, do you think predictions can also be used to influence, like that they are made up to influence society maybe?
Yes, to a certain extent. You know, because a prediction can also help you in taking decisions, so you're also somehow influencing your future. Thinking in terms, as I say, medical sciences, healing is actually thinking about a trajectory.
Yeah.
You're actually going for the future, even now. If there's something going on, you go to a medical doctor, offers you treatment, so you think actually, and you say how long this is going to take, so you're already thinking in terms of weeks, months, a year, and you're really trying to influence, to change actually this course of life, so to create a different future than a future of sickness and death,
so
for
it
example.
could be used as that. Okay, and do you maybe have one last advice based on predictions from the past? If you have to say something for people living 200 years from now, what would you say to them?
Look around, and most of all, look at the people around you, because this is your present and it's also your future.
Wow. Wow,
Yeah,
that's a good advice.
that's a good advice, I think.
Well said.
Yes, thank you for being here. And before we move on to our next guest, we have another short video for you. We asked some people what they thought about the future would look like when they were younger, and how that compares to what life actually is now. So let's take a look.
This is Bianca, reporting from Groningen. Today, we'll speak to different people about the future that they once imagined, the dreams that didn't come true, and the hopes that they still have for future generations. So, let's go! So, what kind of predictions did you have as a kid that maybe came true or maybe didn't come true?
When I was a little girl, I used to think maybe when I grow up, people will find out how to teleport.
I don't know if it was a prediction, but when I was watching, it was like a TV show. They had like flip phones, and when you opened them and someone called you, the like hologram of them came up, so you could like talk to them like this.
Yeah, I was thinking that maybe we're gonna have like robot cleaning servants. I really wanted to be able to breathe underwater.
I thought there will be like a lot of robots and that they will be killing a lot of humans and they will like replace us.
Is there anything that you hope for the future generations that would happen for them that maybe didn't happen for this generation?
So I think I would hope that we're gonna have so much more accessible healthcare.
For the future now, I hope we manage to cure cancer. That would be fantastic. I think we're pretty far already.
AI will not replace like too much job because I don't want like people to lose their job.
For women to have even better healthcare because there's still, you know, all medicine is basically tested on men. And I hope we can learn more about the female body and how it works.
I hope for world peace.
Yes, don't we all?
Yeah.
It's so interesting to see how different people imagine that the future would look like and how not everything turned out the way that they expected. What do you think the future would look like? Thank you for watching and back to the studio.
So we just saw how people predict the future compared to reality, and it's really funny to see how crazy that difference is.
Yeah, and while some people look back to see what the future was, what they imagined, others try to look forward to see what could still happen.
Yes, which brings us to our final guest.
Scientists and engineers create new technologies, but science fiction authors imagine what those technologies might actually mean for our lives. And their stories help us think about the possibility, but also the risk. So welcome our science fiction author. Welcome to our show. It's so nice to have you here.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for being here and that you brought all your books with you.
Not all my books, a couple of examples of very good predictive books from world literature and a couple of my books.
Really nice that you brought them.
And very excited to hear about it then.
Yeah, before we're going to talk about that, could you first talk about yourself, who you are, what you do?
Yes. I'm Martijn Lindeboom. I'm from Groningen. I'm a science fiction writer, among other things, and writing coach and taekwondo master, so all kinds of stuff. Today I'm a science fiction writer, yes.
Okay, and these are some of your books? How many did you write?
14 now,
14.
And the 15th and maybe 16th will appear this year.
Oh, you're working on that.
Oh, that's very exciting.
That's
Could you tell us what got you into writing, or specifically science fiction?
Science fiction, it's when I was young, I was still am very a big Star Wars fan, and I started writing fan fiction about Star Wars, and almost immediately I started to imagine my own world, own futures and fantasy, and also write fantasy and horror and history stories and all kinds of things. But science fiction has always been my love, and I'm still writing a lot of different kind of future stories.
Yeah. And science fiction has imagined a lot that has become reality later. And do you think science fiction maybe predicts the future, or maybe influences the way the future goes?
It influences it a bit, it predicts it a little bit, but most science fiction is not about the future. It's about our culture now and what's happening now, and you look at it in a different way by placing it into another time.
Okay, so maybe we view it as the future, but it's not.
Well, it's written as if it's in the future, but it's almost always about problems we're facing now. So a lot of these books, for example, are climate fiction, cli-fi, and that's about. Well, we haven't figured out the climate crisis yet. Hopefully we will.
So it's about real problems, but set in a future world.
Yes. Yeah. That's it.
And I know in a lot of these stories, technology does play a very big role in how it influences society. So looking ahead, what kind of change in society do you think will happen in the next, let's say, 50 years that will surprise us?
Well, surprises. Well, there have been a lot of speculations about the future, and a lot of them have been very positive or very negative, and always our reality in that used to be future tends to be in the middle, and it's usually not as exciting as it is written. Fortunately, if it was very bad, what's going to happen, because we had a pandemic. There are a lot of science fiction stories from older that are about pandemics. And everybody dies.
Oh my God.
Corona didn't kill us. No. So it's always a more bland form than, so science fiction is often an exaggerated form of what we think will happen. Well, and one of the predictions that has been made is that we will be usurped by AI,
Of course.
And of course, we're getting a bland version now
Yeah.
because AI we have now is not the AI that we wanted in science fiction, because AI in science fiction is really thinking.
Yeah, yeah.
And our AI is not really AI.
Yeah.
So it's a predictive language instrument, and it's never going to usurp us. That's impossible in this.
We hope not.
Yeah, the other kind could be developed still, and that one could be very dangerous. But this one will make us stupid.
We're safe.
Yeah.
And you said that you have written about climate change,
Yes.
right? And are there things then that you think are going to happen then?
Well, climate change is jumping over all kinds of limits, and it's not going to go well. But if we're humans, so it's not I'm not very hopeful that we will find a way to work together. But if we would work together, I think that it would be very possible to overcome climate change.
Yeah.
And a lot of these books, not my books, but very good books, are about all the steps you can take. And the most one, this one, The Lost Cause by Cory Doctorow, isn't about big technological changes. It's about one guy who's being nice to other people and trying to help people, and other people try to help him, and he builds a community.
Community.
And in the end, that helps to blunt the climate.
So it's not about like machines or like aids, but really about people and the community.
Yeah, and they use machines and stuff like that, but that's not the focus.
Yeah.
When science fiction started in the 100 years ago, then it was really science fiction. So
it was about like science.
Yes, there was a new was radio. Okay, what can happen in the future with radio? Then that
or
was
with
the
Star
story.
Wars, with us exploring space.
Yeah, stuff like that. In this moment, it's more social fiction. It's more speculative fiction, and it's
so
about
it's more about like what will happen in society rather than technological advances.
Not just hyper focused on science and technology, but a lot more about how does the world work and how will it work.
Yeah. Okay. And one last question: would you say, are you personally more optimistic or like pessimistic about the future, or maybe a little worried?
I'm quite pessimistic about the future because we're not doing well. But I'm very working on it to be optimistic, and I've started a new book project called Utopia.
Okay.
And it will be 19 stories about the future by 19 different authors that will be positive.
Okay.
So
that sounds good.
Yeah. Thank you so much for being here. That was a really interesting conversation.
Okay. And we want to thank all the guests for being here and for all their different perspectives. It was really interesting to hear all these stories, I think. And we also want to thank you for watching, and we see you tomorrow.